tall people, short people. Welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. My name is Barbara Rosen, and I'm serving as your worship associate today. I use she, her pronouns, and am an older white woman. Only in the body, though. The mind is still young. I have white hair, glasses to read, and am wearing, for those of you who have vision problems, I'm wearing bright something between red and orange. We want to acknowledge that here at the church, we're on the lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole peoples. We're a church of many welcomes, and we offer a warm welcome to all of you. This is a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. To learn more about events, our church calendar's on our website, uutarpon.org, or we'd be happy to talk with you during the coffee hour. For those present with us in the building, we have connection cards available in the pews near the hymnals. If you fill one out, both sides will be able to keep in touch with you. You can also just send us an email at membership@uutarpon.org to get connected. There are also small cards near the hymnals also. If you have any joys or sorrows that you would like to share with us, if you prefer to do it in writing. Our first piece of music will be Love Will Guide Us, number 131 in the gray hymnal.
I am the Reverend Kristina Spaude. I use she, her pronouns, and am a white woman. I am tall with almost shoulder-length curly brown hair, parted on one side with blue eyes. Our opening words this morning come from Rainer Maria Rilke, his book of Hours, Love Poems to God, translated by Anita Barrows and Joanna Macy. God speaks to each of us as he makes us, then silently with us walks out of the night. These are the words we dimly hear. You, sent beyond your recall, go to the limits of your longing. Embody me. Flare up like a flame and make big shadows I can move in. Let everything happen to you, beauty and terror. Just keep going. No feeling is final. Don't let yourself lose me. Nearby is the country they call life. You will know it by its seriousness. Give me your hand. Come, let us worship together.
We light our chalice with these words from J. Wolin. With this flame, this symbol of our religion, let it be a symbol of burning up the ties that hold us back from being our true self and reaching our true potential. Let it be a symbol of lighting a new way for us into a better tomorrow. And let it be a symbol of letting go, because holding on too long, too tightly, is never good for the soul. Now we'll sing Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal.
Our story this morning is Roxaboxen, written by Alice McLaren and illustrated by Barbara Cooney. Marion called it Roxaboxen. She always knew the name of everything. There, across the road, it looked like a rocky hill, nothing but sand and rocks, some old wooden boxes, cactus and greasewood and thorny ocotillo, but it was a special place. The street between Roxaboxen and the houses curved like a river, so Marion called it River Road. After that, you had to ford a river to reach Roxaboxen, not unlike the Oregon Trail. Of course, all of Marion's sisters came, Anna Mae and Frances and little Jean. Charles from next door, even though he was 12. Oh, and Eleanor, naturally, and Jami with his brother Paul. Later on, there were others, but these were the first. Well, not really the first. Roxaboxen had always been there and must have belonged to others long before. When Marion dug up a tin box filled with round black pebbles and everyone knew what it was buried treasure. Those pebbles were the currency of Roxaboxen. You could still find them if you looked hard enough. So some days became treasure hunting days, with everybody trying to find that special kind. And then on other days, you might just find one without even looking. The town of Roxaboxen began to grow, traced in lines of stone. Main Street first, edged with the whitest stones, and then the houses. Charles made his of the biggest stones. After all, he was the oldest. At first, the houses were very plain, but soon they began to add more rooms. The old wooden boxes could be shelves or tables or anything you wanted. You could find pieces of pottery for dishes. Round pieces were best. Later on, there was a town hall. Marion was mayor, of course. That was just the way she was. Nobody minded. After a while, they added other streets. Frances moved to one of them and built herself a new house outlined in desert glass, bits of amber, amethyst, and sea green, a house of jewels. And because everybody had plenty of money, there were plenty of shops. Jean helped Anna May in the bakery, pies and cakes and bread baked warm in the sun. There were 2 ice cream parlors. Was Paul's ice cream the best or Eleanor's? Everybody kept trying them both. In Roxaboxen, you can eat all the ice cream you want. Everybody had a car. All you needed was something round for a steering wheel. Of course, if you broke the speed limit, you had to go to jail. The jail had cactus on the floor to make it uncomfortable, and Jami was the policeman. Anna May, quiet little Anna May, was always speeding. You'd think she liked to go to jail. But if you had a horse, you could go as fast as the wind. There were no speed limits for horses, and you didn't have to stay on the roads. All you needed for a horse was a stick and some kind of bridle, and you could gallop anywhere. Sometimes there were wars. Once there was a great war, boys against girls. Charles and Marion were the generals. The girls had Fort Irene, and they were all Girl Scouts. The boys made a fort at the other end of Roxaboxen, and they were all bandits. Oh, the raids were fierce, loud with whooping and the stamping of horses. The whirling swords of Ocotillo had sharp thorns, but when you reached your fort, you were safe. Roxaboxen had a cemetery in case anyone died, but the only grave in it was for a dead lizard. Each year when the cactus bloomed, they decorated the grave with flowers. Sometimes in the winter, when everybody was at school and the weather was bad, no one went to Roxaboxen at all, not for weeks and weeks. But it didn't matter. Roxaboxen was always waiting. Roxaboxen was always there. And spring came and the Ocotillo bloomed and everybody sucked the honey from its flowers and everybody built new rooms and everybody decided to have jeweled windows. That summer, there were 3 new houses on the east slope and 2 new shops on Main Street. The seasons changed and the years went by. Roxaboxen was always there. The years went by and the seasons changed until at last the friends had all grown tall, and one by one they moved away to other houses, to other towns. So you might think that that was the end of Roxaboxen, but oh no, because none of them ever forgot Roxaboxen. Not one of them ever forgot. Years later, Marion's children listened to stories of that place and fell asleep dreaming dreams of Roxaboxen. Gray-haired Charles picked up a black pebble on the beach and stood holding it, remembering Roxaboxen. More than 50 years later, Frances went back and Roxaboxen was still there. She could see the white stones bordering Main Street, and there where she had built her house, the desert glass still glowed, amethyst, amber, and sea green. We will sing our children and our educators out to their programming together to hymn number 413 in the gray hymnal, Go Now in Peace. And as we do so, I will light this candle as a symbol of the love and trust of this community.
Our UU community and its work runs on the generosity of our congregation. You may mail your offering, go to our website, use Square, or place your offering in the Sunday's collection. This month, UUCTS's Social Justice, the Rainbow Welcome Circle, is asking for donations for Toys for Tots. Please write Toys for Tots on the memo line. Give as you are willing and able. Our next piece of music is number 1020 in the teal hymnal.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there.
After a short reading, we will be holding a moment of silence, contemplation, meditation, as you call it, prayer, perhaps, together. First, an offering, as we are still offering what peace we can to those who are still at war right now, in honor of the Transgender Day of Remembrance tomorrow, and thinking about Thanksgiving coming this Thursday. This is Decisions by Boris Novak. Between two worlds, choose the quieter one. Between word and silence, choose listening. Between two books, choose the dustier one. Between the earth and sky, choose a bird. Between two animals, choose the one who needs you more. Between two children, choose both. Between the lesser and the bigger evil, choose neither. Between hope and despair, choose hope. It will be harder to bear. Now I will let you settle into yourselves and your seats. Perhaps take a few deep breaths deep into your belly. Our reading today comes from Alberto Rios. This is A House Called Tomorrow. You are not 15 or 12 or 17. You are 100 wild centuries and 15, bringing with you in every breath and in every step everyone who has come before you, all the yous that you have been, the mothers of your mother, the fathers of your father. If someone in your family tree was trouble, 100 were not. The bad do not win, not finally, no matter how loud they are. We simply would not be here if that were so. You are made fundamentally from the good. With this knowledge, you never march alone. You are the breaking news of the century. You are the good who has come forward through it all, even in so many days, feeling otherwise. But think. When you, as a child, learn to speak, it's not that you didn't know words. It's that from the centuries, you knew so many, and it's hard to choose the words that will be your own. From those centuries, we human beings bring with us the simple solutions and songs, the river bridges and the star charts and song harmonies, all in service to a simple idea that we can make a house called tomorrow. What we bring finally into the new day every day is ourselves. And that's all we need to start. That's everything we require to keep going. Look back only for as long as you must, then go forward into the history you will make. Be good, then better. Write books, cure disease. Make us proud. Make yourself proud. And those who came before you, when you hear thunder, hear it as their applause.
Where you lie, I will lie.
Back in the springtime, I attended some of the Festival of Homiletics, a week-long celebration of preaching and presentation by progressive, liberatory Christian preachers and scholars. So we are getting biblical this morning. If you're new here, this is not something we do on a regular basis. One of the preachers mentioned Lot's wife and shared that she is the most referenced woman from the scriptures in poetry, I think it was. Lot's wife has been sitting with me for 6 months, patiently waiting for her turn to teach us. Of course, it is Lot's wife who is unnamed in the scriptures, but who, in the Midrash, the wisdom of rabbis that supplements the Torah, has named as Edith. She is the one who breaks God's instruction not to look back as she is fleeing from her home, which is being spectacularly destroyed. Fleeing with her husband and the children who would leave, and for this, she instantly becomes a pillar of salt. The story begins, before the beginning, with God expressing that there has been such an outcry from people that they cannot ignore it, that the twin cities of Sodom and Gomorrah had fallen into sinfulness, with the gravest sin perhaps being breaking the commandment to welcome the stranger, to love our neighbors, to be hospitable. To assess the situation there, God sends 2 emissaries to the city, 2 of the same who have just visited Abraham and Sarah. Abraham, just informed that he would become the father of nations despite being ancient, is told by God that Sodom is sinful, and so they are preparing to make their way to Sodom, where one of Abraham's nephews, Lot, lives. Abraham pleads with God, what if there are 50 good people? 45. What if there are 45? What if there are 40? 30? What if there are only 20? What if there are only 10? God says he will not destroy the city if 10 are good. They arrive, and Lot, who has been at the gate, welcomes them into his home. Initially, the angels decline, but Lot urges them to stay with him. They eat well, and as night falls, the home is surrounded by the men of the town, demanding that the 2 be sent out. Lot begs them to behave and offers his daughters instead. And the crowd gets even angrier. They only stop banging at the door when the angels strike them blind and they can no longer find the door. This story is often misconstrued as one condemning homosexuality, but it is not about that at all. It is about the inhospitality of the residents who have wealth and food in abundance, and somehow this has made them cruel instead of generous. It has become the practice that the men of the city violently assault their visitors. And so God decides that the city must be destroyed. Lot and his family are given little time to collect their things and make their way out before God unleashes his destruction, sulfur and fire, which leads to explosions and more. God warns them not to look back or there will be consequences. But Lot's wife cannot help herself, it seems. So this raises a few questions. I've also been sitting with Krista Tibbett in my mind anyway, and her philosophy of asking good questions. And so we begin with the first. What other reason could there be that she would look back, knowing it would be her end? It is natural for us to look back as we leave. We remember those moments what has been, what was, the promises we once felt held by. We think about the community we had, or at least dreamed of having, our roots, the places we loved, and for Lot's wife, that perhaps her children also loved. It is deeply human to recognize that places become homes, that our relationships with places and people are what shape and make our lives. Maybe she was looking back to see if her daughters who had chosen to stay with their husbands had changed their minds. How do you not look back and remember your hopes, the people who loved you into yourself, the memories of firsts and last and everything in between? As I was leaving Pennsylvania, I looked back as we drove over the Susquehanna River for the last time, wanting to have my last memory of the place not be one of pain, but of beauty. Perhaps Lot's wife was looking back to help her accept that the city was worthy of such destruction. Given how natural an instinct turning back would be, it seems cruel to believe that God would want to punish anyone already facing such a terrible situation. So this is the second question. Why would God make this instruction? In general, the God of the Hebrew Bible isn't the warmer and fuzzier God that we get to know once Jesus enters the picture. But God is also not unreasonable or punishing for the sake of being punishing. So what would inspire them to make this instruction? Given the context for the rest of the scriptures, my interpretation is because sometimes we humans have a tendency to hold on too tightly to the past, even at the expense of our present and future. We continue to act in ways that we have acted, even when doing so keeps us locked in cycles of creating harm to ourselves. God's attempt at going scorched earth in these cities of licentiousness is to try to create a blank slate, to give the people a chance to begin again, to build something new, and one would expect, or at least hope, something better. In order to do that, not only does Lot's family, the ones who are to survive, need to be far away, they need to be moving in the direction of forward in their hearts and their minds, as well as their bodies. Turning back slows us down and risks us getting stuck, whether physically or emotionally, as if looking back might cause us to freeze. As if Lot's wife turning into a pillar of salt was just an affirmation of her own unwillingness or unpreparedness to make space for the future or even the present. The third question is, why salt? Why is she turned into a pillar of salt? The Midrash says that Lot's wife went to other homes in Sodom asking for salt so that she could share that they had guests for the evening. But this is not in the scriptures, though, so the text itself does not offer any insight into this question. What we do know is that salt is a component of tears. Being turned into a pillar of salt may be one way to convey tears of loss. Salt is also highly soluble in water. That is, when wet, the salt will melt away. And land that is saturated with salt cannot grow anything. Perhaps being made a pillar of salt which will not last as a monument for the past for long, and will become a stain upon the earth as a patch where nothing will grow, is what God was trying to warn against. That if there can be no good or healthy growth, there will be no growth at all. Without a future, the past will also become lost because there is no one left to carry it. Or to quote from Paul Razor in a 2010 UU World article, nearly a century ago, the Reverend Louis B. Fisher, the dean of the Universalist Seminary at St. Lawrence University, described, "Universalists are often asked to tell where they stand," he said. "The only true answer is that we do not stand at all, we move." Razor continues, "Yet there are times when the opposite is true, when the realities are so daunting that we freeze up, playing out Dean Fisher's aphorism in reverse, that we do not move, we stand." Or to reference another scriptural story, the one about Moses leading the people from Egypt, too often we focus on the 40 years wandering in the desert. And with good reason, we understand that hardship. But in doing so, we overlook the effort it takes to leave Egypt at all. Some of those people protested, "The journey will be hard, and being a slave, is it really so bad when you at least know how the system works?" They clung to their horrendous conditions because they were familiar. The past can feel like a warm comforter on a cold day. Communities, including congregations that are not moving or resting actively, are dying. Resting from the lens of doing appropriate care, of catching our breath, of meditating to bring us calm or to help us dream, of taking the time to ask the hard questions. These are all active resting. Refusing to engage in these practices, like refusing to do the work to move forward, is an indication of dis-ease, of unwellness. We become like Lot's wife, frozen in time. The thing is that generosity is not just about money or your time, talent, and treasure, as we so often say. It's about all of that and more, about the ways that we are open to curiosity, hospitality, care. The ways we think about not just this moment, but about this moment in the context of what has been and what will yet be possible based on what we do today. Generosity is temporal this way. It extends from before all the way to beyond. It's also a conversation we have, both with the past and the future, to give direction to the present. It's a conversation we have with what is possible now. Perhaps we are like the children in their homes, or we are like the children as they create this new town out of crates, cactus, pebbles, and glass. The present offers different possibilities, just as the future does if we let it. Generosity is about reaching beyond ourselves into the future, doing just a little bit more than is necessary to make other things possible. We need to be generous in holding space like the land of Roxaboxen for dreaming, for others' dreams that we alone cannot imagine, but will save us nonetheless. We need to look forward at least as much as we are looking back. Are we willing to reach forward for the generosity the future is trying to extend to us? How do we hold space in this moment to honor the past, to name what it has given us, and to allow the future to be possible? A healthy past wants us to let go and grow forward. When Lot's wife looked back, she was holding herself back from being able to hold space for other possibilities in that moment. When I left Pennsylvania, I had already been making space in my heart and mind for this congregation for a couple of months. My looking back was a last goodbye, an act of closure. While our minds sometimes imagine us living in the future, or our hearts and minds may try to convince us to live in the past, we know how that turned out already. We can only ever live in this moment. Our own imaginations as we age may become less inspired at times, less curious, less interesting. Imagination is something that we have to practice, and congregations have to practice this together. And every time someone comes or goes, we have to rework the possibilities we had been imagining to make space for everyone. And so today, Barbara, if you would like to join me, we are celebrating our 8 new members who have joined this congregation in the last year. I'm going to call their names, and for those who are present, if you would come up and stand sort of in a line in front of the piano, that would be lovely, and Barbara has things to give you. Our first 2 could not be here today. Beth Hensley, who joined technically in December of last year, but after our last new welcoming ceremony for new members. Elaine Brooks, who many of you have gotten to know through her poetry sharing. Helen Kalbaugh. Lana Wirtz. Oh, they can share. Lizzie Wolfson. Pam Hudson. And her husband's spirit, Bill. We'll have him join us in spirit for this moment. He passed away recently. Catherine Ruby, who also could not be here today. But finally, her husband, Michael Bato. All of you should have a half-page handout. If you are visiting today, do not feel that you need to participate in this ceremony, but you are welcome to follow along as you prefer. So this is a responsive reading. We tried to keep the responses pretty minimal for everyone, except for me. So, it is a joy to welcome each of you as a member into our community. Becoming a member of this congregation is an important act, but it is only one part of your spiritual journey. We encourage you to grow your religious life and to explore and share your unique gifts. Will you journey together with us, sharing the joys and the responsibilities of membership and covenant with us? If you agree, please say yes.
Yes.
Now for the congregation. Members of the congregation, will you reach out to these people in friendship, including them in your activities and fellowship? Will you participate with them on their spiritual and religious journeys and invite them on yours? Will you be open to their unique gifts and perspectives? Will you join with them in covenant, extending the faith of this congregation?
Yes. We join our strengths and talents and commitment with yours. You are a part of us, and we are a part of you.
Ours is a shared ministry to help each other find meaning in life and to build a just and compassionate life and world, working to fulfill the vision and mission of the congregation. Welcome. And you may now return to your seats, and the choir will return to the chancel, and we are going to sing hymn number 407 in the gray hymnal. We're going to sit at the welcome table. Again, that is 407 in the gray hymnal. In The Gift of Faith, Jean Harrison Newyar has written, in the lore of ancient China, there's a story of a philosopher who was asked, where is the road called hope? He replied, it does not exist, but as people move upon it, it comes into being. I invite you to continue moving forward on this path, this journey of hope with me.
Oh,
We hope you found meaning in today's service. We close with these words from the UUA. When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all of our lives and sharing it with all of the world.